Joining me now to weigh in on this is Texas Congresswoman Beth Van Duyne. Congresswoman, it's always great to have you. You know, lost in all of this discussion is the Supreme Court ruling. Biden is in open violation of the Supreme Court, telling him to reinstitute the Remain in Mexico policy. Yet it appears to me, and you correct me if I'm wrong, it appears to me that GOP leadership doesn't appear at all concerned about this. Why do you think that is?
Well, I think GOP leadership is concerned about it for sure. I mean, that's something that we've been talking about over and over again every opportunity we get. But it doesn't seem like the Democrat leadership really cares. They're not addressing it. They're not bringing it forward to even discuss on the House floor. They have no plan. They have no strategy. They just continue to do what they've been doing, which is opening up the border, allowing all these folks over here, no plan of attack at all, no plan to be able to handle it, to be able to prevent it. It's getting a lot worse. I have said that for months now. It's getting worse before it gets better. And unfortunately, what we're seeing is tens of thousands of people coming over into this country illegally. They are being let go into our country with absolutely no plan of where they're going, how they're getting there, what they're going to do once they get there, and or following up on them. To say that they are being monitored is a complete lie. And not only that, but let's add on to it the fact that none of them are being tested for COVID. They're not receiving vaccinations before coming into the country, and they're being released indiscriminately all around the country. And it is a national security issue. It is a humanitarian crisis, and the Biden administration won't even address it.
Wanted to get your reaction, too, on a guy I call mediocre or milquetoast Mayorkas, blaming Mexico for the administration's violation of a Supreme Court order to reinstate the Remain in Mexico policy. Watch.
We are complying with the court's order. We do have an obligation to implement the migrant protection protocols, and we are negotiating with Mexico because those protocols require a bilateral agreement.
Yeah, the problem here is that Trump already did this negotiation, already got it done. So essentially, Team Biden is attempting to go around the Supreme Court by giving a wink and a nod to Mexico to not cooperate so Biden and his team can bring in millions of illegal aliens every single year. Am I reading this wrong?
No, you're reading exactly right. And the fact is that one of the reasons why we had the Remain in Mexico policy was because we had a commander-in-chief who actually was willing to negotiate with Mexico and have them fearful that if they did not work with us and actually, motivate them to be concerned with what was happening on their own borders before they entered our borders, that we would pull back funding. You don't have that with this very, very weak president and the administration right now. They're completely denying that there even is as a problem, much less working with Mexico and demanding more accountability from Mexico. So Mexico has no incentive at all to be able to work with us, and they won't. So yeah, we can sit here and try to blame the Trump administration, but the fact is that since the Biden administration came and took over, you have seen tens of thousands, millions of illegal immigrants enter this country. You've seen hundreds and hundreds of pounds of illegal drugs. You've seen increases in human trafficking and sex trafficking. And the Biden administration has no clue, no plan, won't address it, and seems to be shifting resources away from the border to other places just for processing and babysitting. That's a problem.
Yeah, and you know what? Congresswoman, don't forget that down there on the border, Latino communities are being decimated right now. Latino American communities, majority Latino communities down there just being destroyed, all because Biden is addicted to illegal immigration. And it also bears pointing out that Mexico, for crying out loud, this is how their life was before Trump. They were more than happy to send their illegal immigration problems to us. Biden and milquetoast Mayorkas are using a debunked lie to claim our border agents who were on horseback ran down and whipped illegal aliens who were rushing the border. Who is going to defend our law enforcement officials when they get their careers destroyed because Democrats need to change a narrative to make up for their lawless incompetence?
It's a shame. I mean, it's pathetic what they're trying to do. It's horrible what they're doing to our law enforcement agents whose job is to enforce the laws that policymakers put on the book, primarily protecting our borders, protecting our country. And we are making them out to be criminals because they're doing their job. And, look at these people. If you are down on the border, if any of the members of the administration would bother to get down there and talk to the people, you can see how humanely they are reacting to this incredible stress and crisis that they've got. They are begging for additional resources. They are begging for help, and it's falling on deaf ears with the Biden administration. The resources aren't there. The respect isn't there. They're going to blame the people who are enforcing their laws. And until we can actually get a commander in chief who prioritizes our national security, prioritizes American lives, we're going to continue to see this grow and worsen.
Now, as Mr. Biden facilitates the illegal immigration of millions of foreign nationals, we have hundreds of American citizens still abandoned over in Afghanistan. We have thousands of those who actually helped us out and over in Afghanistan who've been fully vetted over there. And we're hearing now reports that there are more Americans in Kabul than Biden has claimed. Has your office received any updates about how many people are actually left over there, our own citizens?
We have been trying to get information from the Intelligence Department, from Department of Defense, actually on the number of Americans that are still left over there. We are trying to figure out what the strategy is for bringing them home. We have asked for information about the number of allies that are still there. We've asked for information about the military equipment, the $85 billion worth of equipment that we left over there. We're not getting anything. They can neither confirm nor deny any specific numbers. And when we've pressed them, they said, we don't want to give you a number now because it may change, and whatever we give you now may not be accurate. That is not the way to run our international defense, our national security. We need to know how many Americans are over there and what is the plan to get them out. It seems like we just completely left them there without any plan, without any strategy, and ran and hot-tailed it out. We don't do that in America. We don't do that with our military. And that is the position that we have found ourselves in. Again, it's a complete lack of planning, a complete lack of respect for military, and it's a complete lack of respect for our allies as well as our adversaries, what message that we are sending to them.
I have said it before, real Americans do not leave our own behind. Last thing I wanted to get to, in response to Texas and other states passing bills that protect the lives of children in utero, in the womb, the Democrats have come up with a plan that says you can off a baby all the way up until 9 months in utero. A fully formed baby, you can kill it with no ramifications. You gave a passionate speech on the House floor, and I wanted folks at home to see this and get your comment on it. Further comment. Watch.
Years ago, I, like many women, suffered a miscarriage. I should have been able to hold my son in my arms, but that was not God's plan. Years later, I still grieve that loss. And not the loss of a generic cluster of cells, but an actual baby who would have been about this size. My son had his own unique set of DNA, fingerprints, blood type, and a heartbeat.
Congresswoman, you've got those on the other side of the aisle, Nancy Pelosi and others, who are rabid, who are vicious, and can't wait to see an abortionist rip children like that, limb from limb, 9 months in utero, and they want to be able to kill those babies with permission, legal permission from the government. Can you respond to the Democrats?
It is a barbaric bill that they're trying to pass. And it's shocking to me that after all of these years, we can't still agree where we've been in the past, that, you know, a child, a fetus that can be operated on, that can have heart surgery while in the womb now because of advances in technology, is not seen as a human. When holding that, the model that I brought, that's what a child at 20 weeks in utero looks like. And I don't think that Democrats are actually valuing life at all. I mean, seeing what's happening in Afghanistan, where we're leaving American lives behind, seeing what's happening at the border, where we're not providing, safety to American citizens that live here, and seeing what we're doing with life in the womb, not even allowing them to have an opportunity to have life, to even be born. For over 40 years, the Hyde Amendment provided that taxpayer dollars would not be spent on abortion. We're fighting that too. But the fact that a 9-month-old baby, completely viable, could be born and not protected in this country. And you've got Democrats overwhelmingly, unanimously accepting that is horrific.
We are being ruled by some of the most barbaric, inhuman, Nazi-esque people, and I'm not being rhetorical here. You would have to be a complete callous idiot to advocate what the Democrats are advocating to do to children. Congresswoman Beth Van Duyne, I appreciate your time here on the Chris Salcedo Show as always. Still to come.